If you are wanting to save and invest your money, but you are on a low income, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I was making $12,000 a year and how I was still able to save and invest my money. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrienne. I make videos every Monday on all things investing and personal finance. So if that is something you're interested in, definitely go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can join our little family. I really learned how to manage my money during this time in my life. And I will say that there are definitely a lot of other people who are in much more difficult financial situations, so I'm not trying to dismiss that or demean that. I'm just trying to share my experience and hopefully help you guys in any sort of situation, and I hope you can take this just for what it is. I actually had a really difficult time finding a job out of college, and I think that's something that not a lot of people talk about. So when I was a senior in college, I probably interviewed for dozens of jobs, and none of them went past like 1 or 2 interviews. Like I really never felt like I interviewed well. I lacked so much confidence in myself and my abilities. The June after I graduated from college, I actually reluctantly applied for an internship at a church, the paid internship, which was supposed to be 4 months, but I ended up being in the internship for a year, and my housing was included, but I made $1,000 a month, and that was supposed to be like a stipend. And now there's a lot more to that story, but just for the sake of this video, I will just keep it at that. I learned a lot in that year, especially financially, and I really do believe it's shaped a lot of who I am. So with that being said, here are the 3 most important financial lessons I learned during that year. First lesson, you really don't need that much money to survive. I now make over 5 times what I made then, praise the Lord, but having only made $1,000 a month, I now realize how much of my spending now is not exactly necessary. I'm naturally a huge saver. If you've seen my other videos on how I've saved money, you could probably tell, but honestly, spending money is like addicting. Now making more than 5 times what I made then, I sometimes feel really guilty spending more than $1,000 a month on non-housing expenses because I know I can spend less because I had to do that for a year. What I figured out is what it really comes down to is when your income increases, your lifestyle doesn't have to change. Basically, you can save that difference in your income. I truly find satisfaction in like stretching my dollar as much as I can and getting the most bang for my buck, but I will be honest in saying that there are things that I pay for now that I didn't do back then because I straight up just couldn't afford it. Like right now, I pay $129 for a gym membership that I wouldn't have even imagined doing back then. I pay for work clothes now. I pay for a lot of things that are discretionary spending, but I just enjoy spending the money on those things, and I can now, so I allow myself to do that. As long as my housing is covered, I know that I could survive off of $1,000, and that is kind of how I've figured out how much money I can have in my emergency fund and scrape by. I see my emergency fund as kind of being like, okay, something happened and I can't work for X amount of months. X times 1,000 is how much money I absolutely need just to survive, plus housing costs, but I'm separating that for now. Back then, there was very little wiggle room in my finances because I had such little money to start out with. So I wasn't paying for a gym membership. I wasn't paying for any nicer food than I absolutely could. I think I went out to eat maybe once a month, and I spent like $8 to $10 that one time, like to get Chipotle or something, because I literally like could not afford it, and all of my money went to basic necessities. So the second lesson I learned is that there are other ways to make money other than your main job, aka start some sort of side hustle or 2 side hustles. As soon as I knew I was going to be in this internship, I started looking for other opportunities where I could make money. So one of the things I did was through a friend, I found out that my area has a Facebook group that is a network of parents and babysitters where babysitters can find parents to babysit for and parents can find babysitters. So I joined the group and I just put like a little description of who I am, my background in babysitting, so that I could babysit on the weekends or weeknights, and this helped so much. I know not all areas have this, but it's definitely worth checking out if you do. In DC, childcare is very expensive, especially if you're watching a lot of kids, and especially if you have a lot of experience, you can make like a decent amount of money. There was a family that I met through the Facebook group that I've been babysitting for the last 3 years. I would babysit for them about 3 hours every week. So that was like a pretty steady stream of income that I could use. And now I feel like I'm a part of their family. They're so sweet, but definitely also be careful. I'm sure there are creepers on groups like that or care.com or whatever. I just happened to get lucky. I also feel like the families got lucky. And I know when you're going on Facebook and you're finding someone to watch your kids, that is not something that's easy to do, to trust someone someone that you really don't know with your kids. And honestly, when somebody asks me to babysit, I don't take that lightly at all, because I know that that means that they trust me with their kids. Another way I was able to make some money on the side was through reselling items. So I would resell on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. I also use this website, I think it's called rev.com, where I would caption videos. I really didn't find that any of those were like a good return on my time or my investment, but I did learn to go through my stuff and resell items that I didn't want. It was kind of like having free inventory, and that's something I still do, because first of all, there's tons of crap that you have that you don't need, so why not sell it? And honestly, I've been able to max out my Roth IRA every year just doing those things alone, not even touching like my real income. And the third financial lesson that I would tell you is to be honest and open with your friends and family about your financial situation. I said this before in other videos, your friends and family have more influence on you than you really realize. You are an average of the 5 closest people that you spend time with. So be honest with your friends about your financial situation. If they're your real friends, they will understand if you are in a tough financial situation and you can't afford to go out every night. And they will love you for you, not just how much money you have and not just how often you can go out and socialize. If they're your true friends, if you say something about not being able to go out to an event because you don't have enough money, if they are your real friends, they will still be your friends after that. Or maybe even find like a financial accountability partner or friend that you can walk with, and you guys can do like fun free activities in your area together. For me, luckily, my housing was covered by the church, so I didn't have to pay for rent or any utilities. My other option would have been to live back home, since my parents did live in the area. I also didn't have any car payments because my car had already been paid off, but I was paying for maintenance and gas and property tax on my car, and I also didn't have any student loans. So my time at the church was definitely a time where I was so hungry just to learn. I was honestly so young. Not that I'm that old now. Because I was so hungry to learn, I grew exponentially in my internship at the church. The day that I left the church, I literally cried and sobbed the entire day because I was so thankful for my time there and everything that I had learned. And honestly, I would say the value I got from working there far exceeded any amount of money that I could have received for that job. And at the end of the day, I didn't have a ton of money, but I had everything that I needed. My 1-year internship making $1,000 a month taught me some of the most important financial lessons that I have carried to this day. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that some of the hardest times in your life, financially or emotionally or in any other aspect, are the times in your life where you are most destined to grow. I know that most people at some point in their life are going to be in some sort of difficult financial situation, and I'm sure there are times when you don't even have a job at all, or you don't have an emergency fund and you're wondering where the next paycheck is going to come from. So my hope is that you learn something from this and you can make the most out of whatever situation you are in. I encourage you to continue chugging along and responsibly making good choices. And if you found this video helpful, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join our little family. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next Monday. Bye guys.